Shalom, shalom. And to that, I'd like to say Kal Halayam, La Allah Nawa Yahuwa Bahashim Washai, Bahashim Makakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and others of great soul who will well. Shalom unto the brothers that pushing his word, his truth, and its sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom unto the Israelites who have been scattered among the nations. And shalom unto the Akwat who is listening and learning, especially obeying a husband. This is your brother Karatazar, back at you with another short lesson. Right from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp of Trinidad and Tobago. Right. Also pray that this lesson will be edifying. Right. Will be edifying by the strength and mercy from Yahweh Shemir Shai. Right. So getting into this video, you will see where in the photo, right, it have chains on the body and also chains to the mind. And this is something going into a lot of Jakes, even a lot of I'll say yes, a lot of Jakes in general. They think that because they're in an open field, they think that they are not slaves. Right? They're thinking that they are not slaves, but not realizing that they have already they are enslaved by the mind. It just went on from the body to the mind, right? And your mind is the strongest point to attack. Because why? Because the mind controls the body. And if the mind is weak, that means the body is weak. If the mind is strong, that means the body is strong. So what they do, they transition from the body to the mind. They weaken your mind by having that strong drink, which goes back into false doctrines, right? False teachings, the school system, right, and all these things. So it was a simple transition that it took, but we are also fault of that. But at the end of the day, the Lord is in control, based on what goes on, because we have to go through, what we are going through right now, right? Also, it have been spoken, been prophesied in Deuteronomy 28. If we do this, we will be blessed with this. If we do not do this, you would not be blessed with what you're all supposed to be blessed with. Right? It was simple instruction. If you be obedient, or if you be disobedient, it have circumstances to that. Right? But we have chosen to be disobedient, right? By committing adultery before the Lord, which is, when I say committing adultery, right? We have committed adultery spiritually before the Heavenly Father by going on to other gods. Right? So now you get a clear picture. Right? So let's have just a little read in Deuteronomy. Right? So this is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. It said, "And it shall come to pass, if thou hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments which I commanded thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth." Right? Which meaning, if we have obeyed, we would have been on high above all nations. Right? Above all the other heathen nations. Right? Because when you have a kingdom, you must have servants. right? There cannot be a king without servants. You cannot run a kingdom without servants. You must have both to run your kingdom, to run your empire, right? Verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. It's going to be an overflow. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, blessed thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field, which is you're blessed in the city and in the field with your crops. Whatever you choose to do, you're gonna be blessed. That's gonna multiply drastically, right? Scriptures talk about he has given the earth unto the hands of the wicked, and you can see how they live. But they only living like this because we was disobedient, right? Verse 4, blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of the kin, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be when thou comest, and blessed shall be when thou going out, right? So, which is in these words, by going out and thy coming in, right? You're blessed, you're safe, right? Right. So let's read in the NLT. It says, wherever you go and wherever you do, you will be blessed. Right. Let's read verse 7 in the NLT. Right. It said, Yahweh will conquer your enemies when they attack you. They will attack you from one direction, but they will scatter from you in seven, right? But in 7 ways, right? They will be confounded in 7 ways, right? And this, sadly, this is what happens when we disobey, right? So let's jump down to verse 9 in the NLT. It said, if you obey the command, it said, if you obey the commands of Yahweh your power, and walk in his ways, Yahweh will establish you as his holy people, as he swore he will do. And Yahweh don't lie. When he tell you he's going to do something, he's going to do something, right? We can see how the prophecy is rolling out right now. Though it tarry, wait for it. Right? So let's read verse 10 in the NLT. It said, then all the nations of the world will see that you are a people claimed by Yahweh, and they will stand in awe of you, right? Which they will be afraid of you, because they see the power that you serve, the power that you have, right? The scriptures also talk about right, about the let me get that precept real quick. All right, let's get Psalms 102 and 15. All right, so it says here, Psalms 102 and 15. It said, so the heathen shall fear the name of Yahweh, and all the kings of the earth thy glory. Right? So that this is why in Deuteronomy 28 verse 10 said that they will be afraid of you, right? Because they because they fear, right? The fear that they have upon that name, right? Um, let's read down, right? This is the reading down to the consequences of disobedience, right? This is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. It said, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Right? So you see, with the obedience, when you follow the commands, you get the blessing. And then if you don't, the same way how you get the overflow of blessings, you also get the overflow of the curses. Right? It go hands in hand. Right? That's what scripture also mentioned. A false balance. Right? A false balance is an abomination. Right? Let me just get that real quick. Right? We'll get that in Proverbs 11:1. It said, "A false balance is an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight." Right? Because the Lord will just deal one-sided balance. You have the good, you have the evil, you have light, you have darkness. Right? Verse 16, it said, "Cursed thou be in the city, and cursed thou be in the fields." You see the same thing. You have the blessing, you have the curse. Right? It said, "Curse shall be in thy basket and storehouses." What is the basket and the storehouses? The storehouses is basically the food. Right? Scriptures also talk about you putting your money in a basket with holes. Right? That also goes back into the bills. All these prices raising within food. Right? As soon as they make the money, the money done. Right? All these things is curses that is upon Jake. Right? But the Lord, He is opening our eyes. Right? And He is also bringing back His people. Right? Which is the 144, hope for the elect men. Right? It said, "Curse shall be in the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of the land, the increase of the kine, and the flocks of the sheep." It said, "Curse shall thou be when thou comest in, and thou goest out." Right? Verse 20, it said, "Yahweh shall send upon thee curses, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed." And being destroyed, I'll be dead, Being destroyed, it just be being broken down so much spiritually, which it end up physically as well. Right? As you see, when we went on to false gods and these things, we end up in slavery. Right? And right, so let me just read out the scripture here. "And until thou punish quickly because of wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me." Right? So when we have went on to other gods and so forth, we have forsaken the Lord, and the Lord is a jealous God. The Lord is a jealous power. So what do you expect? Right? It basically come like a parent to trying to correct his child. Eventually the parent is going to get fed up, then you're going to get tread licks. Right? At tread licks where you can't even breathe. Right? So this is basically what it is. He giving the earth into the hands of the wicked, which is Esau, right? Esau was put there as the correction, right? So when we go off, basically like hand us over to them for correction until we learn back our righteous ways, and then he will take us out from that correction when we have learned our lesson, right? But Esau have taken advantage. He have taken advantage, right? So since the days from slavery, he had us into chains, right? And then through time, they chain our minds in terms of the school system, the school system, the work system, right? Because everything basically stems from the school system, right? They train you different hours, the hours the school start, the hours it finish, different things that it teach, right? And when you really step into the real world, you realize most of the things that you learn in school you never apply it in real life. It's a whole different game, right? But if your eyes, if you are blinded, you will never see the truth for what it is, right? This is why they have all these distractions with technology. The technology, right, goes back into magic, right? So just wanted to just touch on that a little bit, even stemmed from the blessings in terms of what we had from before, and when we have disobeyed, the reason when we have disobeyed, the consequences that we have to face, and the reason why we are in this position today as a people, right? Esau have changed the laws, right? If you watch on the westernized culture, you will see on the westernized side it have a lot about they're literally bugged out. Right? So yeah, it's like here. My phone ran out of space there, so just had to go back and just read some things. Alright, to just continue with the video, but I was almost finished up anyway. I just didn't get a close off. Right, but this is the step, in terms of they do everything gradually, right? So from one stage to the next. But the mind is the part when they have you by the hook, right? Some was able to remove that hook, and then some wasn't able to remove that hook. They are still hooked by it, right? But it's all by the power, and mercy of Yahweh Bashim Rashai, right? So hey, to that, because a lot of jigs, still thinking, yeah, we free. Nah, we ain't free. It's basically like you have a let's use this analogy. You have a dog within a kennel, right? All he knows is this little kennel here. And then you say, okay, well, let me let you out. Make it think that you are free in this big yard. But within that yard, you have boundaries, you have fence. So this is basically what it is. We are in an open world, but yet enslaved. And that is all it. But soon, not very soon, we're gonna be out of this place. I'm going to be out of this place, and we're going to be back to our righteous minds, serving our Ba'ashem Yahushai in the way that we are supposed to, right? But in order to rule a kingdom forever, understand this, you must go through these parts. You must go through these treacherous journeys to be able to be fully established as a king. Because the scripture also mentions that we will also be judging angels. Right, let me get that precept real quick. Right, so this is the book of 1 Corinthians. Let me get hold on. Right, this is a book of 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 2. It said, "Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matter?" Verse 3, "Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?" Alright, so hey, so within that time to come within the kingdom, you're gonna be, the elect men, hopefully elect men, hope, pray and hope, that I'm part of that elect, and also other brothers as well, right? That we will be at that level, right? Also, with Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh, right? But onto that, hope that this lesson was edifying. And to that, we'd like to say, Kal Halayim La Alahaina wa Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great concern who well. Shalom unto the brothers and shalom unto the Akwat. This is your brother Kratas. Until next time, shalom.